Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem got in some trouble after indicating during a press conference over the weekend that she thinks it's her administration's job to make sure the, quote, right leaders are elected in the midterms this November. Take a listen.
Elections is another one of those critical infrastructure responsibilities that I have as well. And I would say that many people believe that it may be one of the most important things that we need to make sure we trust is reliable, and that when it gets to election day that we've been proactive to make sure that we have the right people voting, electing the right leaders to lead this country through the days that we have, knowing that people can trust it.
That particular soundbite sparked outrage online. Former Congressman Joe Walsh writing on X, quote, "Who are the right people? And it's not government's job to choose our leaders. It's the American people's job. I served in Congress with Kristi Noem. It's not at all surprising to hear her spew this un-American expletive." And former Obama advisor David Axelrod taking it a step further in a post of his own, writing, "This is why Kristi Noem will remain in place despite her flagrant corrupt mismanagement of the DHS, at least through the midterm elections. The president wants a loyal Aparchik in place who will do whatever is necessary to ensure the right leaders win." Even border czar Tom Homan seemed to be skeptical of Noem's comments there, offering this lukewarm defense.
What does she mean when she says electing the right leaders? That's not really immigration enforcement or DHS responsibility.
I don't know. That'd be a question for the secretary. If I had to guess, probably that only those legally eligible to vote would vote. But I have not talked to the secretary about those statements. That'd be something she'd have to answer.
Of course, Noem made those comments amid the push to pass the Save America Act, which would, among other things, require voters to present a valid photo ID at their polling place. President Trump doubled down on the push for nationwide photo ID in a series of posts on Truth Social, writing, "There will be voter ID for the midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not. Also, the people of our country are insisting on citizenship and no mail-in ballots, with exceptions for military, disability, illness, or travel." He continued in a separate post, "We cannot let the Democrats get away with no voter ID any longer. These are horrible, disingenuous cheaters. This is an issue that must be fought and must be fought now. If we can't get it through Congress, there are legal reasons why this scam is not permitted." Well, I can't believe this made
What do you
headlines.
mean?
What was controversial about what she said at all?
The right people? It's
She
like,
said
it's
the
through
right
her
people
perspective.
voting to elect the right people.
The
She
problem
was
is that
clearly referencing the eligibility of the people voting. It's her job to make sure that only American citizens are voting. The right people, the right candidates elected are the ones who are elected by American citizens and not by people who are ineligible to vote. That's obviously what she meant.
The onus is on her and the administration, as it always has been, to lay out examples of widespread election fraud. Lay out examples of all these migrants, people that crossed the border illegally, that have voted in all these elections. Lay it out. They haven't been able to lay it out. And so therefore, they're just accusing the country of all this mismanagement of past elections that has no examples and real life proof in any real terms that make this worth her saying. What do you mean real? We've been having real elections. Donald Trump lost one of them and can't admit it. So if anybody has come close to trying to sway an election or do anything illegal regarding an election, it would be President Trump. So you understand why people have questions around what is all coming out of it. Even Tom Homan, who's somehow been elevated to the level-headed guy in this all.
Well, he hates Kristi Noem, so he was not going to help clarify her comments and put her in a way that makes her look flattering. They're fighting each other. So that's why he was not going to help her there. But he was right. If I have to guess, yes, the thrust of her comments again is just that.
Okay, but you have to understand why.
Why is this so offensive?
You understand why people don't trust President Trump in particular in regards to voting. You understand exactly that he won't admit that he lost the election. Because he knows that very well.
He filed lawsuits.
He knows that he lost it. I also, when we're talking about the SAVE Act, and he wants to push forward an executive order if it doesn't go through because people like Lisa Murkowski are against it. I understand that there's a large portion of the country that believes it's simple. Like, yes, just bring your ID, vote, and it's not that big a deal. Like we saw on CNN, even them pushing back in their polling showing, yeah, people are for this.
Black people support.
Right. I understand that. But I think that that's not taken into account. And Amber and I talked about this a little bit Friday. The fact that there are a number of people that maybe can't relate. Again, I'll tell you the same thing. Can't relate to our situation or CNN, anybody on that channel situation, or the average person that lives in the cities and has the luxury of even watching CNN. There are some people that live in extremely rural conditions, some people that haven't changed their last name seriously in years since they've been married on all their legal documentation. There are a variety of people that you put in strenuous situations. There are multiple people living paycheck to paycheck in this country. I believe it was 10 to 11% on the census. So there are people that actually will be hindered by this. And most of those people, unfortunately, happen to be people of color or people, because it's just a number of people in this country that have been disenfranchised in a variety of ways because of systemic racism. And we understand the history of this country about why it would be harder for them to vote if this falls on the people that are less fortunate. That's the way this country looks right now. We hope that it would change, but we would hope that people also can access their basic right of voting. And so just because you can't relate doesn't mean it's not true. And they're also not participating in these polls and say, oh, do you think you should bring ID? They don't have time, okay, to participate in stupid polls, somebody calling them asking, would you vote in an election? So should we not care about anybody that has a disability and can't make it to a certain place of polling at a certain time or wants to mail in? Should we not care about the people that live in extremely rural areas that have no transportation? Should we not care about any of that?
Do you want my honest answer?
If you say no,
I don't care.
I'm gonna flip your chair over.
Care. You gotta prove you're a citizen to vote. Sorry, them's the breaks. Just like you gotta prove you're 21 to buy liquor from the liquor store. It's not fun to go through paperwork. I've been going through some. I had to do a lot of unfun IRS paperwork, some immigration-related paperwork. It is a chore. It is a pain. It makes me hate the government. It makes me scream at my computer the documentation I have to provide. But that's just what you have to do. And you don't have to do it. In this case, you can just not vote. But if you want to vote, you got to prove you're a citizen. And the overwhelming majority of people in the country already have what they need to demonstrate that. And if you don't, I'm sure it's annoying. I'm not discounting that it's annoying.
They can't take the
Dealing
time
with
out.
government bureaucrats is annoying, but that's just how it's got to be.
But some of it's not just about annoying, Robbie. Some of it's actually I cannot take the time off work to do this thing. I cannot afford to pay the $10 to get a new passport or to get a new birth certificate. I cannot, because our country is in a state of uncomfortable financial stretch that's been happening since the pandemic. And so that's an acknowledgement that you have to make, that there are people that maybe you just can't relate to that actually just want to vote but can't afford all those other things. And we have to just have some respect for that situation and understanding. In a magic fairyland, I'd snap my fingers and we'd verify immediately that everyone was voting could vote, and they'd have little IDs to show it. But in the real world, there's got to be just a little bit of a process you have to go through. I know that's inconvenient, but I don't know what else we can do. Up next, President Trump rages at comedian Bill Maher in a lengthy Truth Social post, calling him very boring. We'll be right back after this.